I'm Shareiff with IjaraCDC, and I want to talk to you today about halal crypto investing and ethical finance. And halal crypto investing is really what a lot of people today are interested in because they want to know, can I invest in crypto? They've heard a lot about crypto, and hopefully we'll be able to do some education to let people know, what crypto is, how to invest in it, how to be safe with your investment, and then we'll talk about ethical finance. So inshallah, we'll go through, what makes a token halal and how to get involved. So first of all, let me give you a little background on who Ajara is. Ajara is, we're not a bank, we're not a broker. What we are is a structuring company. We primarily focus on Islamic finance, and we work with institutions that want to do Islamic finance. They just don't know how to do it. So we show them utilizing, our systems, documentation process, how to get involved, okay? Now, we're not the first company to do Islamic finance, but we are the first company to be able to offer an Islamic finance product in all 50 states, okay? Our closest competitor is about 38 states now. We're also the first company to be able to offer commercial Islamic financing in all 50 states. And this commercial finance also includes nonprofits, masjids, community centers, schools. We're also the only company that's ever been able to complete what's called an SBA, Small Business Administration, backed transaction. So we know a lot of people in our community are business owners, right? And so we are able to work with the SBA to provide financing for our small business people in our community. And we're the only entity operating at our scale that's actually a true nonprofit. And we've been offering our services in Canada since 2008. So we're relevant, right? We're in the top 3 in the nation. And if you were to include our Canadian operations, we would be number 1 in North America in terms of total volume and size, right? But Sharia authenticity is the thing that most of us are interested in, right? How do we know what you're doing is Sharia compliant? And our process actually goes back to 1995, and it was developed by an organization called Dalal Al-Barakah Group in Saudi Arabia. And then it was updated again in 1997 for UBK, United Bank of Kuwait. And then updated again in 2003 for University Bank. You may know them as MyUIF. They're probably our biggest success story because we've introduced University Bank to Islamic finance. We've also introduced 38 other banks to Islamic finance, okay? And when we did the campus acquisition for Islamic American University in 2007, these 2 scholars, you may recognize them from Ajara, approved our transaction to purchase Islamic American University. Then it was updated again in 2009, right after we started in Canada. And then it was updated again 2012, 2013, 2015, and most recently, it was updated this year. It was updated this year because we added the crypto finance, right? The ethical finance. So while the Sharia doesn't change, we know that laws in North America and process and procedures change. So we've updated the fatwa along the way. So you're working with an organization that has a well-established transaction, right? We have a lot of history. The big question everybody has is crypto halal? And just like anything else, there's a difference of opinion, right? There's some scholars that say that it is, there's others that say that it's not. So, what do you decide on? Well, I like to go with the mainstream opinion, these 2 extremes, but the mainstream opinion is that the crypto is halal, but it depends on what it's based on. Just like when you buy stocks, right? Stocks are generally halal, but it depends on the company. Some companies are permissible, some companies are not. Make sense? And it's the same thing with crypto. Some crypto is permissible, some is not. Now, what is cryptocurrency? Cryptocurrency is basically a digital means of exchange. Now, are we using digital means of exchange already? I think we are, right?
Yeah.
Are we using Zelle or Venmo? Cash App, right? A lot of what we do already is digital. How often do you actually spend cash anymore, right? Some people still do, but in general, your bills, your utilities, your car payments, your house payments, rent, you pay that all through an online application. A lot of times, even if you get a tax refund, it's sent directly to your bank account, right? You very rarely get a physical check that you go to the bank and deposit. So we're moving more and more to a digital form of exchange anyways. So cryptocurrency is just that. It's basically a digital means of exchange. But if you think about it, it was really the first major breakthrough in digital processing, because it has been around a lot longer than Venmo, a lot longer than Cash App, a lot longer than Zelle. So there's thousands of tokens and coins out there, right? There's tokens and coins being added every day. And some of them are legitimate. Some of them are, basically scam tokens, if you will. You have to be very careful about, researching the projects that you want to invest in, just like any companies that you might be investing in the stock market. Right? You want to do the research. You want to understand what is their basic, business. Now, Bitcoin is probably, probably the most famous. It was the first one. So everybody knows Bitcoin. But for Muslims, we need to know that is crypto halal, and generally it is, but we have to know what the project is. If it's a meme, generally, there's really nothing there. It's not really considered to be halal. But if it's based upon some kind of functionality, then it is considered to be halal. So let's talk about what the blockchain is. The blockchain is basically a database. We all know what a database is, correct? And if you think about a point of data, which is a block, it's a block of data, and you take blocks of data and you piece them all together, now you have a blockchain, right? Does that make sense? So the difference is that this blockchain is not stored in one physical location. It's distributed amongst a bunch of computers all over the world, and each computer carries with it a piece of that information so that no one can really hack it, right? If you have all of your data stored on a server farm with Google, somebody could probably get in and hack it, right? But when your data is distributed and little pieces are all over the place, but they all connect together, then your data is secure. Now, the other interesting thing about blockchain and blockchain potentially future applications is, for example, title work, title insurance. In one string of data, you can include all of the owners of a property and all of the transactions that have occurred. So what does this do? And this is probably, going to happen sooner than later. What that does is it guarantees that nobody can steal title from you. You've probably seen all the advertisements about, different companies are offering coverage and notices if somebody's attempting to take your title for your property, right? Well, with a blockchain application, your title will be safe, right? Because it's not hackable. Does that make sense? Now, Bitcoin was established on January 3rd, 2009. What makes Bitcoin halal? Well, it's the network, right? The functionality of Bitcoin is the network itself. That's what gives it value. It's a store of value. think about Bitcoin when you talk about financial applications. Think about Bitcoin as maybe a savings account. It's a store of value. Ethereum, probably the second largest cryptocurrency, and everybody I think has heard of Ethereum, is basically a software application. Smart contracts that execute effectively automatically. This is what makes Ethereum halal, is the functionality of the contracts. Think about Ethereum as being like the checking accounts, the Venmos, the payment transfers, the loan applications, all the other financial applications that you might get from a financial institution, right? So you have Bitcoin, which is going to be the store of value, like a savings account, and everything else, your checking, your ATM, debit, everything else, is functionally would be based upon an Ethereum process. Make sense? Okay, so now I want to talk about a few terms you should be familiar with. One is a coin. What is a coin? Well, a coin is basically a store of value that you can exchange, right? It's kind of like the dollar bill. You can take the dollar bill and you can exchange it for whatever you need. Now, a token is basically a coin that has other functionality. It functions within an ecosystem. Okay, so a token is a little bit more than a coin, but some people use the term token and coin interchangeably. Yes, you can trade tokens and exchange them for things, just like you would a coin, but generally speaking, a token has functionality within its own ecosystem, right? So what would be an example of that? An example of that would be, for example, you have dollar bills. You can trade them for each other. You can buy things with them, right? But you can't really do anything else with a dollar bill. But with something within an ecosystem, you could trade them for other services, other functionality, other than just a simple trade, okay? Then you have a wallet. A wallet is just that. It's something that you physically keep that will, well, not physically, but it's a wallet where you keep your tokens or coins. We all know what a wallet is, right? We all have wallets. And then there's an exchange. An exchange is where you go to exchange, for example, dollars for Bitcoin or Ethereum or other tokens. It's like going to, the exchange at the airport and trading dollars for, Indian rupee or Indonesian rupee or Saudi riyal and so on, right? We all know what an exchange is. So that's what an exchange does. Now, this is really important, public key and private key. When you use Zelle, you send or receive money by using somebody's telephone number or email address, correct? That's a public key. Think of that as a public key. You can safely give out your public key to anybody, and they can only send you money. They can only send you tokens. They can't access your accounts. Make sense? Now, a private key is really important that you keep it private. You don't share it with anybody, because think of a private key as your account number, your login, and your password all in one. If somebody has your private keys, they basically have all your money, right? So public keys are okay to share. Private keys, you don't want to share. Any questions so far? Okay. I'm just trying to simplify things, okay? So let's look at like wallets, okay? So a good place to store, we recommend MetaMask. MetaMask is an Ethereum-based wallet. You can only really store Ethereum-based tokens. And I like MetaMask because you can pretty much have it on your cell phone, on your desktop, on any computer or any device that you want, and it's fully protected because you have a set of 12 keywords, which protects your private key, right? Then there is a cold wallet, which is better protection for you because it actually does not keep your private keys in a digital format, in the cloud, if you will. It keeps it on like a USB drive. And I recommend Ledger because even if you lose your Ledger device, you can still go back and reclaim it because you have a set of 24 key phrases that will allow you to access your private keys. Okay, so for protection, use something that's secure like a MetaMask. For even better protection, use a physical device, what's called a cold wallet, to store your tokens or your coins. Now there's some exchanges. Number one, I would probably recommend Coinbase, Kraken, or Gemini. These are places that are fairly easy to set up. You can log in. Coinbase is traded publicly. Coin is the ticker symbol. And it's very easy. It's a very easy interface. And you can connect it to your bank account and you can exchange Bitcoin, you can exchange Ethereum, you can exchange for quite a few different coins and tokens. It's an easy way to get in, okay? But I would still not recommend holding your tokens on Coinbase. Just use it for the purpose of exchange. Store your tokens on either a MetaMask wallet or another secure wallet, or better yet, store it on a cold wallet.